Hey, yo, Smell Good family, just a PSA real quick, really for everyone. Remember, fragrances are subjective. None of you are right, and neither am I, or any other content creator. Opinions are opinions, and you should look up the definition if you're not sure what an opinion is. All right, so when we get up here and we give our thoughts and our opinions on different things, that's solely what it is. And I, for one, am not going to sit down anywhere and go back and forth with someone about how I feel or how anyone else feels about a particular brand or particular fragrance. All right, I'm not in this space for that. I talk about what I like, what I love. I try new things, and I just keep it pushing. All right. And this space is positive energy, and this space is positive vibes, and it is positive vibes only. All right. So again, fragrances are subjective. If you have not caught wind of that yet, you are sadly behind on what it is to have an opinion on something. Okay. So keep it respectful in the comments. Keep it respectful just overall for everyone. We're just here to have a good time and discuss fragrances in a way that this community does. All right. So clones, niche, independent niche, designer, whatever, cheapies, rack store, whatever. There's a place for us all, and there's something for everybody. All right? Good. All right, let's get started with today's video. YouTube, what's going on YouTube? What is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy one more time, DEDRICKHICKSJR, and now I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell Good family, hopefully everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. And as always, man, it's positive energy, it's positive vibes, and most importantly, it is positive vibes only. All right, so I'm here to discuss my weekly rotation. Again, this is my favorite video to do each and every week. And just really love the camaraderie, the conversation in the comments, seeing what you guys are wearing, and just love the vibe that this video brings each and every week. All right, so this is week 179, and we're covering every fragrance that I wore during the week of August the 2nd. All right, so great week. In my opinion, we had a variety of things here, and some fragrances that I wore for the first time, and a lot of fragrances I wore for the first time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tap in, and let's kick it off with Sunday. All right, Sunday was a work day. It was a rainy day, kind of gloomy, windy, rainy, and I was in that kind of mood too. Number one, didn't really feel like getting up going to work, but it be that way sometimes. All right, but we made the best of the day, had a great day overall, and we went with this beauty, one of the best aquatic fragrances I've ever experienced. Like high level aquatic from the house of Lorenzo Pagliazza. We have Arctic Sea. Arctic Sea. Now, Arctic Sea doesn't get a lot of conversation in the community, but boy, when I tell you, this is amazing, man. There's 100 notes in this fragrance, man, but what my nose gets is this salty, aquatic, citrusy, green fragrance, man. There's this cooling effect as well to this fragrance. And honestly, the weather of the day, I guess it influenced me wearing this fragrance, because even though it's summertime here, and it's muggy, it's the humidity, and it's hot and all those things, it's just a fragrance that complemented the vibe outside. And I really enjoyed this, man. This was a mood lifter for me, especially going into the office on a Sunday. But this is a underrated aquatic fragrance. There are, like I said, not much chatter about this. If you're just in the vein and you appreciate aquatics, just whatever level, if you're in the vein and you just simply enjoy aquatic fragrances and you have not tried this one, I highly recommend you getting your nose on it. Get you a sample. Samples are everywhere for an affordable price. You don't have to blind buy, but if you must, this is available on the gray market at some decent prices. I'll try to link everything in the YouTube shopping tab if anybody's interested as well. But this stuff is amazing. One of the very best aquatic fragrances that I've ever tried. The quality, the composition, I said quality already. Just nothing negative about this fragrance for me. I love this stuff. From the house of Lorenzo Pagliazza on Sunday, we went with Arctic Sea. Fantastic stuff. All right, Monday was an off day for me, and I had a bunch of errands to run and just kind of move around. Kids back in school, my baby boy's birthday. I had to go get some stuff for work. Just a lot of things going on Monday. Post office, gym, all that stuff, man. And I got a shout out my guy, Quan Edwards, man. He reached out to me and said, hey, D, I got a few of these fragrances. I'm not looking to keep them all. I would love to send one your way if you're interested. And, you know, I appreciate that. Anybody thinks of me in any way to send something my way, I greatly appreciate it. And this is a fragrance I think is discontinued. It's a part of a great lineage of fragrances from this particular line, but this stuff is awesome for the summer. From the house of Dolce & Gabbana, we have a light blue Italian Love. Light blue Italian Love. This stuff is great. If you are into grapefruit, like rindy grapefruit, sparkly citrus, lemon, bergamot, grapefruit vibes, and you're gonna love this. To my nose, it's in the vein of a lot of the great citrus bombs that you get for the summer. But this one right here, the vetiver, the grapefruit, the violet leaf in here. Not the biggest fan of violet leaf, but I love how it's blended with the citruses and the vetiver here. Aquatic feel to this fragrance as well. Just a great scent for the high heat, and it was hot. You know, it rained on that Sunday, and the sun was roaring on Monday, and just kind of moving around most of the afternoon. I got some really good performance out of this fragrance, man. And this is an EDT concentration, and I was out for about, I was out all day. I'm gonna say about 6 hours, and this was still coming off of my skin as I entered back into the house from just running errands and doing what I was doing. Took my shower later on that evening, and it was still visibly there. So a real solid performance. And then again, you know, you get outside, the heat from the sun warms up your skin. You might be sweating a little bit, moving around. You know, fragrances tend to get reactivated and act differently when you're in the warmer weather, and that's what this did. I'm sure if I wore this to the office, it probably wouldn't have lived. It probably wouldn't have lived as long. But due to me being outside and about, I got really good performance for a freshie. And again, grapefruit, vetiver, violet leaf, an aquatic, ozonic feel to this fragrance. Really good stuff for the summer, especially if you're moving around in this heat, for sure. On Monday from the house of Dolce & Gabbana, shout out my guy Quan Edwards, man. Appreciate you, bro. We have light blue Italian Love. Italian Love. I really enjoyed this, man, especially for a summer fragrance, man. Good stuff. All right. Up next, man, one of the best Fougere fragrances that you'll ever get your nose on. A little bit expensive, yes. You can find on discounters for or a good price. I did. My bottle, I found it for a really great price. But this is an expensive house, and rightfully so. You're getting high quality anytime you're talking anything Spirit of Dubois. And what did I wear to the office on Monday? On Tuesday, returning to the office, we went with a Barrage. Man, I love this stuff, man. This is one of the very best Fougere style scents you'll ever get your nose on. Take your traditional Fougere fragrance, like a Platinum Egoist from Chanel. And I think I've said this before. You know, they added some clary sage, and clary sage give this kind of savory feel to a fragrance. Not gourmand, but this savory feel to fragrances. And clary sage and leather, spices, lavender, kind of has this rich shaving cream, shaving foam vibe to it, man. Just a beautiful barbershop representation, Fougere representation with this fragrance. And it's outstanding. Lasts all day long. If you know anything about Spirit of Dubois, you're going to get fantastic performance and great quality. And with me being a Fougere fan, a barbershop style fragrance fan, this is one of the best I've ever experienced to date. Like, it could be number one overall. I've smelled some really good Fougeres, but this one is definitely at the top of the list, man. So, wore this to the office on Tuesday. I did get a compliment by one of my OGs. Wanted to know what I was wearing. We talked about it. He said it smells like old school money. That's what he said. He said old school money. So we talked about it a little bit, told him what it was. And it's just one of those ones, man. Great fit for the office. You know, I've discussed several times my uniform daily, button-up shirt, slacks, hard bottoms. You know, the bald head is shining, the beard's put together. We're coming in representing for sure and for real when I'm going to work on a day-to-day basis, man. But this stuff is fire. Great fougere. Great fougere. From the house of Spirit of Dubois, we're talking a barrage. This stuff is great, man. Get your sample. Samples are available. This stuff is excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right. Up next on Wednesday. Wednesday was meeting day. And of course, I've been saying this ever since I've gotten into my new position that I'm in. Meeting day is round table action. I am shoulder to shoulder with a lot of my teammates, and we're discussing business, man, and trying to get some things accomplished as we kind of, take this information, take it back to our teams, and see what we can do with it for sure. But this is just a traditional, not traditional. This is a iconic, standardized DNA at this point. There's so many different variations and flankers and attempts with this DNA, and this is just another attempt at it, man. From the house of Yeoman Lael. On Wednesday, meeting day, we went with Twilight. And what is Twilight inspired by? It is inspired by Creed's Silver Mountain Water. And this is a really, really good one. I mean, super close, man. I've talked about Yeoman Lael a lot on this channel. And they have some great work over there. And this is 90 percentile. Like, look, I have different takes on Silver Mountain Water. It's one of my favorite DNAs, but I don't own the original, and there's reasons why. I have Zherzhov, Gentle Womo, Mephisto, Gentle Womo. I have that one. I have Algabra's Sin of Paradise. Like, I have different takes on the DNA, but this is as close to the original that I have ever smell. And then it's just, this is going to make it harder. So clean, fresh, you get that tea, that black currant, just an overall versatile champion is that DNA. And Yeoman Lael, they did a hell of a job yet again with another iconic DNA for an affordable price. All right, we all know what Creed fragrances run, even on discounters. You're talking 200, 250 north, including discounters, retail 400 plus. But 100 ml of this, of really great quality, straight to parfum concentration, performed all day on my skin. It's not a roaring DNA. It's not something that's going to get out and just, clog up any space that you're in when you walk into a building. But it's something that just kind of floats around you, clean and fresh vibes. And I've got a good 8 to 9 hours out of this fragrance before it becomes kind of faintly, before it turned faintly on my skin, the skin scent. And it just was appropriate for the day. Not trying to be obnoxious, not trying to be that guy in a meeting room, especially like round table action, shoulder to shoulder. I'm not trying to do that. And this held me down, man. From the house of Yeoman Lael on Wednesday, meeting day, we went with Twilight. And again, this is the take on Creed's Silver Mountain Water. I got the blue juice from Yeoman Lael as well, so that's pretty cool too. Good stuff. All right. Man, next up on Thursday, probably, I don't know, this was the most, this was a fragrance that a lot of conversation came from this fragrance. This is my most complimented fragrance of the week. And I'll get into it. On Thursday, debuting this fragrance, got a full bottle, did a what's in the bag short on this fragrance. It's incredible. From the house of Matière Première, we have Parisian Musk. Finally got me a full bottle of this. I love the sample that I got. Puts you in the vein of that Louis Vuitton Lover, Santal 33 style and vibe. I think Lovers is better than Santal 33. And Lovers and Parisian Musk kind of go head to head, but I slightly like this one better than Lovers. Why is that? Don't get me wrong, I love Lovers. I think it's an excellent fragrance. All right, their take on that sandalwood, cedarwood type of style of fragrance is excellent. But this right here, you get a little bit of a powdery, creamy texture to this that really rides out. The ambroxanine and the ambertolide is just very, very potent and almost alarming in this fragrance. This is a beast mode fragrance. You don't need a lot of sprays. And just maneuvering through my day in the office, I was complimented 3 times throughout the day. 3 different times throughout the day talking about this particular fragrance, man. And it's amazing, man. It's just something about it. It's just something about it, and it's fantastic. And this is one of the best pickups for me of the year. One of the best pickups for me, for sure. And someone's probably going to ask, why don't you like Santal 33? It comes off a little bit pickly. A little bit pickly for me, not a fan. Lovers, love it. I think it's a great scent. A little bit more on the green side. That cedar, that sandalwood, that galdamin, just really, really, really good, man. But this right here has this kind of fig leaf in it, ambroxan. You get some musk in here. Just beautiful. Ambrette in here as well. Just beautifully done. Rivaling lovers for me, but I like this a little bit more. Got it for a decent price on discounters. Monte Premier fragrances are not cheap. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger after sampling it, man. So I had a friend of mine, one of my guys, y'all probably heard me mention, one of the homies from Frag Boys ENT, my guy Tyrone Koppel, came over to holler at me, man, got his nose on this, and within seconds, oh, that's a full bottle. That's a full bottle, bro. I'm grabbing that. And I told him, I said, bro, I can make you a decant. Nah, I'm good. Full bottle. So it's just something about this, man. So on Thursday to the office, the most complimented fragrance of the week, we went with Parisian Musk from Montier Prime. This stuff is excellent stuff. Daily, versatile driver, just great. All right. Up next on Friday, we wore 2 fragrances, man. Early on in the day, I hooked up with some good friends of mine, some of my brothers, man. These, just a great time catching up, man, and getting an opportunity to have a conversation and talk about a lot of things as men. So we had a really, really good breakfast outing on Friday. It was cloudy, it was a little windy, very comfortable here, and I went with this one. Debuted this from the house of Anfas. We went with Rahaba, and this is a very sweet fragrance, but it's different though. It reminds me of a white gummy bear. If you're into eating gummy bears, like a white gummy bear, white gummy worm, that's what it really smells like. The pineapple here, there's a gin accord in here that kind of gives it this kind of slight dryness as the fragrance continues to dry down. It's in the vein of that Herba Pura, but it doesn't smell like Herba Pura, but it's very sweet. All right. I'm not the biggest fan of overly sweet fragrances, but it's something about this one that I am attracted to and I really, really enjoy. All right. So again, a lot of fruits here. Like I said, pineapple. You kind of get this, I ain't gonna say tropical, but it's kind of like fruit basket fruitiness. Overall, that's what it's like, a fruit basket. That's what it is. Like I said, you get a little bit of gin in here as well. There's some tonka in here. It gives it a little bit of a powdery vibe here as well towards the dry down. But simply put, this is good stuff. Like I said, it just reminds me of a white gummy bear, white gummy worm. That's what it reminds me of. Like I said, not overly sickly sweet like Herba Pura, slightly toned down, but definitely still in the vein. Very fun fragrance, very attractive fragrance. And I was just in the mood for it. I want to give it a try, give it a wear. Performed really, really, really well. By the time I got in the shower, before I got into my evening activities, this was still going. So I was 7 hours in, and this had no signs of slowing down. No signs of slowing down. Just really good stuff. Anfas does not get any credit in the community. There's rarely any conversation about them. They're loaded up at Maxoma right now. I definitely recommend it. We'll be talking about the house more and more as the months go. But Anfas, Rahabra, sweet, beautiful, fun fragrance. Anybody can wear it. Mass appealing vibes. Got complimented by the waiter. Well, not the waiter, the hostess when we were coming into the restaurant. She was like, "Ooh, smelling good," and told us to follow her as we went and got seated. So Friday from the house of Anfas, we went with Rahabra. Really, really underrated, very, very nice, sweet style fragrance for sure. All right, on Friday night, I took my son and his friends to the movies, and this is just a thing that we do. All right, so went to go see The Bad Guys 2. That's what the boys wanted to go see. And it was a cool movie, man. It was a cool movie. We did go see Bad Guys 1 together and took a shower, threw on t-shirts, some shorts, some sneakers, ball cap, took the boys to the movies, and boy, did I enjoy this. This is one of the better affordable fragrances that you can get your nose on. From the house of Azaha Perfumes, we went with Vetiver and Pepper. Vetiver and Pepper. What you get to the core of this fragrance is apple, rose, and amber. Not really much representation of a vetiver. You do get the vetiver kind of gives off this woodsy feel to the fragrance, and it's like a dry woody compliment to the fragrance that you get, but the rose and the apple and amber really are the story of this fragrance. I was really surprised by the performance on this. This is a light, airy fragrance, all right? It's not heavy. It wears clean, just like light and clean and inoffensive. But man, I put this on around 6 o'clock that evening. Movie time was at 7. And the next morning, I woke up like 7 the next morning, getting ready to go to the gym, and it was still on my skin. It was still on my skin. I was like, yo, this stuff is decent. I ain't gonna say overspray, but I sprayed more than normal. Usually I'm 6 to 8 sprays, but I went 8 to 10 because I thought, and it didn't do anything crazy. Like it stayed crisp, it stayed clean, it stayed light, so it never became obnoxious or anything in the movies. Just that's usually the style of fragrance that I wear when I'm going to the movies. It's something fresh and something clean, you know what I mean? And this really surprised me. This house is outstanding for what you pay versus what you get. This is a $40 bottle. $40 bottle. And you're getting an exceptional experience, at least in my opinion. And like I said, the apple, the rose, and the amber really star here. The vetiver in here comes off as this dry, woody experience. But all in all, fantastic. Fantastic experience, man. I'm going to wear this to the office next and see what I get from it. I'm not sure it'll be great, but if the performance was like it was for me spraying it on 6 o'clock Friday evening and waking up 7 o'clock that Saturday morning, getting up, still smelling it, you know, I put a spray on my chest and still smelling it, man, great stuff. From the House of Azahar Perfumes, vetiver and pepper. If you're looking for pepper from this fragrance, it ain't there. It ain't there. There is zero peppery effect in that fragrance, but great bang for your buck fragrance for sure. All right. And last but not least, on Saturday, I didn't do much of nothing. I got up Saturday morning, I went to the gym, and I came home and watched preseason NFL football all day. It was rainy, it was nasty out here all day long, and we wasn't going out in that. So just chilled out for most of the day. And I wore this one to the gym, and for the majority of the day, from the House of Zoa Aroma, we went with Coastal Haze. And Coastal Haze is their take on Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. And it's a really good one. I love the citrus opening here. I love it, man. It is a dead-on attempt on Pacific Chill. But the bergamot and citron combination here in the opening is great. I've smelled Rare Reef. I have Chillax from Yo Maleo, and those are great. But it's just something about the citrus in here that I kind of prefer because I'm a big fan of citrus. Sparkly, tardy, refreshing citrus in this fragrance, and it's outstanding. And like I said, this, and for what you get, what you pay for, another example of that. 55 ml here. I think it's like $45 or $50 for 55 ml. But you get really good quality, really good blend, and it's very close to Pacific Chill. I know there's 100 Pacific Chill clones out there, and there's probably going to be 100 more. But in my opinion, this is one of the better ones. So on Saturday, didn't do much of nothing. Wore this to the gym, and for the rest of the day, we went with after the shower. Put this on. I put this back on after the shower and plop down and watch some preseason football. That was my Saturday. All right. So to wrap up the week, from the House of Zoa Aroma, we went with Coastal Haze. Again, a very nice take on Pacific Chill from Louis Vuitton. Great stuff. All right. All right, Smell Good family, there you have it. That was my rotation for the week. Solid rotation, if I do say so myself. But more importantly, what was your rotation? What did you wear this week? What was new? What did you revisit? What was a yes? What was a no? Please let me know down below in the comments. I love to read your guys' rotation on a weekly basis. And we have a lot of fun doing it for sure. All right, so y'all have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. As always, baby, splack it up, splack it down, splack that thing all around. And remember, what you put out to this world is exactly what you are going to get back. Appreciate y'all. Till next time. Peace. And of course, splack 'em. All right, y'all.